Alright, we got a replay for myself, and VM's Thunderwolf was on stream checking out the new Chaos Dwarves. This was like the first time Thunderwolf had played them as far as I know. We have Norska versus the Chaos Dwarves. I did try the Marauder Chieftain on his Mammoth. Got a cost decrease a little bit, but I wasn't super optimistic. I was mostly just doing it for the stream for the lulz. Now, I say that. I say for the stream for the lulz. That is not so when he gets inevitably bodied, I could say, haha, well, I was just memeing. I'm just giving you some context. I was doing it for the memes and for the lulz. But he is probably just going to get his ass kicked, and no one is going to be any wiser, and this is going to be a bad video. All right, easy. We have 2 Skin Wolves, 3 Norscan Ice Wolves. We have 1 Beast of Tashnar, the Norscan Warhound ROR. The Ice Wolves have been performing just very, very well. We have a Marauder Champion with great weapons. They also got some buffs. We want to try them out. 5 Marauders for a front line. 1 Marauder Javelin for some support, Fate of Unit, Spirit Leech Caster, and the Cold Voider Frostworm, which also got a bit of a buff. For the Chaos Dwarves, we have a Sorcerer Prophet of Metal with Final Transmutation on his Veil Taurus. We have Hobgoblin, no, those are just Goblin Laborers. Goblin Laborers, the Blazing Beards of Bazuk, Dwarf Warrior ROR. We have Bull Centaur Renders, looks like 3 of them, more Goblins. We have 1 Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives, some other Infernal Guard as well. Yeah, so 2 Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives, sorry. Marauders run in. Marauders get nuked down by the Blazing Beards. That's okay, that's their purpose in life. Meanwhile, the Cold Voider was taking a fight with the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal, kicking his ass for a little bit. He does have to retreat. Now, the Cold Voider has a weakness to fire. I kind of forgot that, to be honest. This is probably not the best for this matchup. Meanwhile, the Doggos do a flank. I engage the Bull Centaur Renders, and I am going to countercharge them with some Skin Wolves in the back, but, Infernal Guard with their Fire Glaives have noticed the Cold Voider exists, and like I said, I forgot he has fire weakness, not fire resistance. I thought something made of ice would be resistant to fire, but fire melts it. I know that sounds stupid, but like, if you've played Pokemon, you know that shit goes both ways. Like, I for some reason think that ice was weak to, wait, no, fire was strong against ice? Like, if you use fire attacks on ice Pokemon, it's not very effective? I don't know. It's just, it's strange. It's strange. Shush. Ice Wolves and the Skin Wolves are doing really well into the Bull Centaur Renders. Their 50 armor isn't enough to protect them from the Skin Wolves. They don't have armor piercing, but 50 armor is really not that much. Meanwhile, the Mammoth is in here. He's clapping some cheeks. He's slapping them around. Go! Go, Marauder Chieftain, go! Slap with your giant trunks! I don't know. He knocks so many models around, it always looks like he's slapping them, and they don't really do any damage. Anyway, Bull Centaur is coming over to say hello. He might have a Final Transmutation ready for us, but he's mostly aiming for a Breath Attack. Gets a pretty crisp 1,000 health off of the Marauder Chieftain, who is still fighting. Meanwhile, the Beasts of Tashnar and Skin Wolves are pushing through the back line. The Terror Up comes in for the Infernal Guard as dogs push them off, and wow, even the Bull Centaur Renders are having a bad time, but there is support from the Marauder Hunters with Javelins there that is causing that. Big Final Transmutation probably is overcast. It is. Onto my Chieftain and all my dogs and Skin Wolves, so I am going to try and get the dogs and Skin Wolves out of here as fast as possible. They do appear a little confused. It's a good damage on that spell. Elsewhere, Norska trying to push through the front line, running into a bit of a problem in fighting specifically Chaos Dwarves, and the second Bull Centaur Render did join the fight, making it much harder for my Skin Wolves. They did get murdered. Let's see, the wounded ones are back here. Fate of Unit is cast on the Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives, so I want to take care of them. The Marauder Chieftain is helping to fight the Infernal Guard, but he's doing alright, he's doing good. And the Frostworm, the Cold Voider, is around. I think I'm just saving him for breath attacks at this point. Yeah, he has 1 left. Nice, nice. Beasts of Tashnar and other dogs continue to chase these RORs and the Infernal Guard off the map. My Javelins have refocused. They're now shooting at Infernal Guard, which is a waste of my ammunition. That is my fault. That's a mistake. Should have saved it for more Bull Centaurs. State of the battle at the moment. Oop, Marauder Chieftain getting dove on by the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal. Cold Voider dives in to help out his boss. We pop a fight or die to keep the Frostworm in the fight. His leadership's getting pretty low as he's, you know, mostly dead and such. We'll counterfight with this Bull Centaur. Not Bull Centaur. Bale Taurus? Yeah, he's on a Bale Taurus. He is surrounded by Bull Centaur Renders. He's actually tanking it through quite nicely, and that was something I was surprised about using him. I guess he just has a massive HP pool. With only 30 melee defense, you still think he would get Shrek'd. That was not the case. Marauder Chieftain kept fighting to the very end. Do have some Infernal Guard offering support, though they're strangely inaccurate against a beast so large. The Sorcerer Prophet Metal does have to back off. He's not the best melee combatant, doesn't really want to stay here, and he is gone. We also have Marauder Champion support. That probably made it equally awkward for him to be here. Quick Spirit Leech to drain him down a little bit. Skinwolves and Dogs rallying on the far side. Skinwolves are just trying to regen up a little bit before rejoining the fight. And the Dogs do need to be tasked chasing anything that routes. Knives was taking an unacceptable amount of time to come back. That is my fault. Cold Voider gets one more chippy chomp onto the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal before running away. How are things on the ground? Norska is slightly winning. Slightly. But there is a very healthy Bull Centaur render that gets increasingly difficult to deal with the less stuff I have on the map to fight it. Because, I mean, if you get down on low leadership, a big charge from these guys could just immediately rout you. Especially with Skinwolves. Norska's not very high on leadership. Dogs tear apart those other Bull Centaurs. They are gone. Chaos Dwarves are really, really running out of juice here. It is mostly on the back of this healthy Centaur render and Sorcerer Prophet. At this point, Marauder Chieftain is in there. And he starts slapping away. Wait, hold on. Jesus Christ, Chaos Dwarves. The Sorcerer Prophet's ranged attack applies flammable. I didn't know that. Cold Voider is back in. Again, Fight or Die is used to keep him in the fight, but he is killed off very swiftly. Final Transmutation hits the Marauder Chieftain. I do this time manage to get everybody out of the circle and just wait as the Marauder Chieftain continues to tank it, but a Spirit Leech follows up on the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal, and the Bull Centaur renders are left alone versus the Marauder Chieftain for now. But as soon as that Final Transmutation wears off, the Dogs are back, the boys are back, and they will aid me in my time of need! And a rear charge from the Marauder Champions with great weapons. It's going to do good damage to these Bull Centaurs, who are mighty, who are fierce. Another Breath Attack hits my Marauder Chieftain in the face. Norska is up significantly on the bounce power at this point in time. We do have some Infernal Guard with Fire Glaives rallying. They're firing over their master's head, probably hitting him just a little bit, but he does have missile resist and fire resist, so he'll be fine with that. Marauder Chieftain is pushed off. Officially too low, too much for his blood. He will walk away. This was not meant to be. Thank you, stranger. Marauder Hunters jabs. No more jabs to their names, so they will just run with their little short sticks. And they chase off the Infernal Guard, who don't really want any of that sauce. They don't want to be stuck fighting Chav. Even for being dwarf characters, they only have 44 melee defense, which is a lot, but, like, I mean, Chaff will eventually get through to you. More Skinwolves are staying away to try and regen up. Quick Spirit Leech on the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal. Taking him down a little bit. What's his health at? Just under 2k? Okay. Cool. For mobile presence, Norska does have the Skinwolves, who are charging straight into the Blazing Beards of Bazook. Chuck a couple grenades at my Skinwolves' faces, but it's not going to be enough, and they just get run down by those big, scary, angry doggos. That will probably rout them in short order. Yes, since Skinwolves will spend their time chasing them and regenning without much issue. Sorcerer Prophet does land in the Hunter jabs. He might take a little bit of poke for his efforts. Yeah, there goes about 50 HP off of him. And meanwhile, the little Shaman Sorcerer is trying to keep on those Fire Glaives. Don't let him turn around, don't let him come back. Skinwolf's chasing. Marauders over here did catch the other Fire Glaives, but the Bull Centaur renders will not let my poor Marauder Chieftain come home. Looks like they lost attack orders for a second, but they will finish chasing him in a bit, I believe. Bull Centaur gets another breath attack down to the Marauder Champions. We push straight through those Goblin Laborers, and we are now on the hunt for Fire Glaive Blood. Final Transmutation, is it Overcast? No, an Undercast Final Transmutation on my Sorcerer of Death. I try to get the Marauder Champions out of it, the Marauder Hunters out of it as well. Spirit Leech response once again, and I now rally my forces. I don't want to let the Fire Glaives get too far away and start shooting at me, but I also didn't want to fully abandon my Sorcerer of Death in case that Bale Taurus dove on him. 800 HP for that guy. Centaur Renders realize they lost their target for a second. They are running back after the Marauder Chieftain, but at negative 10 leadership, I don't think he's coming back at all. Shaman Sorcerer Prophet Man firing down onto my poor little Skinwolves. Even though that ball missed them entirely, they still took the leadership debuff of being under attack by artillery. They get just below leadership, and they do run. Those cowardly, cowardly wolves. But it bought us the time we need for the Marauder Champions and my Shaman Sorcerer of Death to catch up, to start slapping some fools. Those are Infernal Guard. I thought those were Dwarf Warriors. Okay, that makes them a little scarier. And the Blazing Beards of Bazook are also back. They get immediately charged by a bunch of Marauders, and while they are better 1-to-1 against the Marauders, this is a 55v6 fight. The Dwarves will quickly be outnumbered and ground into dust. They do fight to the last man. It looks like they aren't going to break. They're just going to straight up die. Oh, the last model broke. What a coward. Marauder Chieftain goes off the map, and that is bad for Norska. They all lose a bit of leadership, and randomly the Chaos Dwarf Sorcerer Prophet just departs, routes of his own volition, then comes back for a brief second. 2 leadership, barely hanging on. And his very tired status is not helping his leadership at all. Infernal Guard running around, Shaman Sorcerer, and the Marauder Champions are just looking for blood, looking for someone to fight, to occupy their time. And those Bull Centaur renders in the distance do have to rejoin the fight. Fast forward through some chasing for a second, as my Marauders do catch up to these guys. Shaman Sorcerer still flying over my other Marauders. Looks like he wants to chase them off. Don't exactly know what his plan is. He's getting awful low on leadership, so he's probably going to commit to a fight soon, I would think. Looks like he's thinking about diving down on the Marauders. Marauder Champions make short work of the Infernal Guard, are going to get rid of them. He's at 4 leadership now for charging. Enemies routing. Oh, okay. I'm keeping an eye on him for reasons, because I didn't quite see what happened in-game. Infernal Guard actually managed to hang on with a Bull Centaur charge coming in from the side. That is going to be really bad for me. I sent some Marauder Hunters jabs out just to eat the charge and die. They're not as useful to me as the champions, but I don't want that big charge bonus coming in for my poor champions. Okay, so I don't fully know what the hell that was about, but there we go. The Shaman Sorcerer... I keep doing that. The Sorcerer Prophet of Metal starts coming back, goes to -1, routes of his own volition. He's bouncing back and forth between 4 and 1, which is really bad, because then if he rallies with 4 and goes back to -1, he's just going to shatter outright. Infernal Guard do head for the hills. They've had enough of this. They're out, leaving just the Bull Centaur Renders versus the Marauder Great Weapons and the Shaman Sorcerer of Death here nearby. This guy's back. 2 leadership once again, coming closer to the fight. -1 for just, like, no reason. And with that, he shatters, and the Bull Centaur Renders are not enough to claim the game. I don't know why his Lord kept routing. It feels like he had plenty of health to come back. I don't know. When you see certain stuff like... I'm trying to think of an example. I guess Torox can come back at, you know, sub 100 HP. But then a guy in a giant Bale Taurus can't come back at 800? Seems weird. Leadership's weird. Anyway, Marauder Chieftain did really well, all things considered. 1,800 value for him. Cold Voider about 1,000. Not good in this matchup. Didn't really realize it was weak to fire. That's my bad. Skin Wolves did well. Dogs did just fine. Deathcaster did fantastically. Death Magic is so good against Cast Worms. It's like so good. And the jabs, amazing. Might have wanted a few of them. Probably cut the Cold Voider. Get a couple more jabs. Get some more infantry just to pressure the Cast Orbs. Would be better. For Thunderwolf, 2,500 on his caster. Bull Centaur has really struggled to get value back except for that one. Infernal Guard, one did very well. The other one did okay. More Infernal Guard and Dwarf Warriors did alright. GG. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.